before I get into this, I'm going to just say it outright that I'm no philosophy major or really that heavily invested or interested in philosophy as a subject or a hobby or what have you. But what I don't like is when people throw around terms and behave, talk, their manner is very verbose and all that. I hate when people utilize those things just to obfuscate and justify questionable positions. Which brings me to Gary Edwards. If you're wondering why I'm making a video about Gary Edwards, blame Innistrad. Well, not really. He's a cool guy. Leave him alone. But Gary Edwards recently made a video saying that he's not an intersectional feminist because of his philosophical position as a scientific naturalist. Now, what I gather from that is that he basically adheres to some form of scientism, along with, I thought about saying contempt, but more of seems like he has a problem with when people critique certain things within mainstream feminism, and he outright dismisses the soft sciences, mainly sociology. Pretty much anything that isn't a hard science, he doesn't accept, including like lived personal experiences of oppressed groups like women of color and the working class. Yet, according to him, this doesn't mean that he says that his position, having that position, not being an intersectional feminist, doesn't mean that he doesn't care about social justice or that it hampers, his being a feminist. I mean, even though it does. And this is why. Not even if you can't, because it's not like people can't see it. If you refuse to acknowledge how different systems of oppression intersect and affect people who, aren't white and cisgendered, your social justice and your feminist praxis will continue to be at best superficial and at worst pretty typical of mainstream feminism and social justice movement that caters to white cisgendered perspectives. And anything that deviates from that is just swept away. And when I read the bottom, the description bar, it seems like this video comes as a result of an article from Everyday Feminism called "Why Our Feminism Must Be Intersectional," which criticizes Annie Lennox for pretty much doing what mainstream white feminism has done for centuries, which is prop itself up as the gatekeeper and authority on what makes a feminist and what doesn't, which has just served to exclude and erase non-white women and the working class from the feminist movement. The article also goes into the meaning of intersectionality and steps that one can take to make their praxis much more nuanced and broad. But apparently that's too hard for Gary Edwards. It seems like it's just too much work since it goes against his philosophical position. And I'm not gonna lie, being intersectional is hard. It's not easy work. It's not for the intellectually lazy. And you have to be diligent and self-aware and be willing to not make every issue about yourself. you have to be able to see outside your own perspective, see outside your own point of view. Basically, to me, being intersectional means not being ethnocentric. But within the span of a 6+ minute video, Gary Edwards basically reduces the realities of non-white and non-middle class women to, Olympic navel gazing and magical explanation. So basically, to me, Gary Edwards is really no different from Christina Hoff Sommers or Elizabeth Cady Stanton or Susan B. Anthony. So, his video dismissing the realities of those who aren't like him really doesn't come as a surprise to me, as it's been a problem within mainstream feminism for how long now? Years? Decades? He's just another white cis hetero dude who uses philosophy to justify being an intellectually lazy, half-assed feminist caught up too deep within his own white fragility over, privilege, that the hint of anything that holds him and status quo mainstream feminism accountable for their bullshit, he others it via painting intersectional feminists as religious zealots or witch hunters and shit, which is no different when white feminists gang up on black feminists on Twitter and throw accusations of, black feminists being, bullies and shit. But look, I digress. So yeah, Gary Edwards' feminism, not desiring to be cognizant of the realities of people who aren't like him, since it's not intersectional, it is indeed bullshit.